Yes, welcome to another episode of Cost Accounting Academy, and I am Surendran Dattapara speaking to you. Today, we are going to see a new topic, that is inventory control. Inventory control or material control. Inventory control means providing right quantity materials of the right quality at the right time and place and at the minimum price. So this is inventory control. Control can be exercised over the materials purchased at the time of its procurement and also at the time of its preservation, storage, and the issue of materials. If a proper control is exercised over the materials while purchasing, while procurement, while storing, and also while issuing the materials, then that control can be called as inventory control. And what are those processes we have to complete while we are in inventory control, while we are controlling the inventories? Let us see one by one. Anyway, we have three processes. Number one, purchase control. Number two, stores control. And number three, issue control. Purchase control. Control exercised while purchasing the material. Stores control while storing the materials. So what are those measures taken for controlling the materials? So those measures are seen in this second category, stores control. Third, issue control. Issue control means when issuing these materials to the production department, when the issue is made, those control measures taken by the management for reducing the overall cost of material and also overall cost of production. Okay, so these are the three stages we have to climb while dealing with this term material control process or inventory control process. Okay, yes, let us see what is purchase control. First, we have to see in detail what is purchase control. Purchase control, it is nothing but the control exercised while purchasing, while procurement of materials. So when the purchase is made, how to make this purchase very economical? That's our aim while exercising this control. Let us see what is purchase control and what are those points to be remembered while exercising the control over purchase. Okay, purchase control, it is otherwise known as purchase procedure. The procedures to be followed by the enterprise, the procedures to be followed by the purchase department while making the purchase of raw materials. Okay, let us see what are those steps which are included in purchase procedure. It is otherwise known as purchase routine, purchase cycle, purchase routine, purchase cycle, purchase procedure, purchase control processes, etc. are the other names. Purchase procedure. Anyway, 7 steps we have to follow while purchasing the materials. 7 steps we have to follow while purchasing the materials. Number 1, receiving purchase requisition. Receiving purchase requisition. Number 2, inviting quotations and tenders. Number 3, selecting the supplier. And number 4, placing purchase order. Number 5, receiving of material. 6, inspection of material. And number last, 7th one, checking the invoice and making the payment. These are the steps we have to follow while purchasing the materials. Let us see one by one. Number 1, receiving purchase requisition. Receiving purchase requisition. It is the first step in the purchase procedure. Receiving purchase requisition. Okay. Purchase requisition, it is a formal request to the purchase department to purchase materials specified in it. When it is given, purchase department will start purchasing only after receiving the purchase requisition. Purchase department will take necessary steps to purchase the raw materials only after receiving the purchase requisition from other departments. As far as a manufacturing concern is concerned, it may consist of a number of departments. And these departments' requirements of materials are satisfied by a separate department called the purchase department. For that purpose, for purchasing the materials or for purchasing the requirements, this department is established called purchase department. And it is headed by a manager called purchase department manager, usually called purchase manager. And here, purchase department will start purchasing the raw materials only after receiving the purchase requisition from other departments. Then what is this purchase requisition? Purchase requisition, it is a formal request to the purchase department. Formal request to the purchase department by other departments where the requirements are required, where the purchases are required. So these departments, if they are in need of some materials or stationery items or whatever the requirements, they will submit a purchase requisition to the purchase department to purchase those materials, because the purchase department is the only authority to purchase the raw material. Okay, let us see the continuation part. It authorizes the purchase department to purchase the materials. Through this purchase requisition, it is a request, okay? Through this purchase requisition, all other departments authorizes the purchase department. All other departments authorize the purchase department to purchase the required materials, required items for their own purposes. Okay, so this is called purchase requisition. And purchase requisition includes the description about materials required. Which type of material is required, or what are those materials required for that particular department. So materials required, that must contain the details about the materials required, date by which materials are required, on which date it is required. So that should also be specified in the purchase requisition. Then quantity and quality of materials required. Quantity and quality, the total quantity required, and also the quality specifications about that particular material. Then name of a requisitioning department, etc. Which department wants this material? Which department submits this requisition? So details of names of the name of that department and the details about all those materials or requirements of that particular department. So this purchase requisition must contain these details of material to be purchased. This is the first stage of a purchase procedure. Number 2, inviting quotations and tenders. Okay, on receipt of a purchase requisition or after receiving the purchase requisition, the purchase department goes to the next step. The next step is to select the supplier from whom materials are to be purchased. From whom materials are to be purchased, before them or to them, inform the details regarding our requirements. So that is the next step. Next step is to select the best supplier. Sometimes or generally, purchase department maintains a list of suppliers for every type of material. For each and every type of material, sometimes the purchase department may maintain a record of or list of the prospective suppliers or the suppliers. സപ്ലയേഴ്സിൻ്റെ ലിസ്റ്റ് നമ്മൾ മെയിൻറ്റെയിൻ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടാവാം. അങ്ങനെ മെയിൻറ്റെയിൻ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അവർക്ക് നമ്മൾ കൊട്ടേഷൻ കൊടുക്കുക, അവർക്ക് ടെൻഡർ കൊടുക്കുക എന്നാണ്. Then what is this quotation or tender? A tender, it is a written document. It is a written document or an advertisement given in the newspaper. Written document or an advertisement given in the newspaper inviting the prospective buyer, inviting the prospective supplier rather, inviting the prospective supplier to supply the required quantity of materials and other terms and conditions. So, a tender is a written document or an advertisement given in the newspaper inviting the prospective supplier to quote their lowest price and other terms and conditions. To quote their lowest price and other terms and conditions. Okay, so this is a tender or quotation. Our aim now it is to invite quotation or tenders from these suppliers. The next stage, number 3, selecting the supplier. After receiving all these quotations from the prospective suppliers, on receipt of quotation, a comparative statement of all quotations received is prepared to know the lowest price quotation. To know the lowest quoted price in the quotation, a comparative statement is to be prepared out of the tenders received or from the tenders, all tenders received. എത്ര ടെൻഡർ കിട്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ടോ ആ ടെൻഡറുകളെയൊക്കെ നമ്മൾ കൃത്യമായിട്ട് ലിസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് അതിലേത് ടെൻഡറാണ് ഏറ്റവും ലോവസ്റ്റ് പ്രൈസ് കോട്ട് ചെയ്തത് ഒരു കമ്പാരിറ്റീവ് സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെന്റ് തയ്യാറാക്കുക. ആ കമ്പാരിറ്റീവ് സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെന്റിലൂടെ വിച്ച് സപ്ലയർ കോട്ട്സ് ദ ലോവസ്റ്റ് പ്രൈസ് ദാറ്റ് ഷുഡ് ബി ഫൈൻഡ് ഔട്ട്. അത് ഫൈൻഡ് ഔട്ട് ചെയ്യുക. അതാണ് ഇവിടെ തേർഡ് സ്റ്റേജിനകത്ത് നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്. സെലക്ടിങ് ദ ബെസ്റ്റ് സപ്ലയർ. Among those quotations or from all the quotations received, one supplier should be selected for our requirements or for our purchase. So this is in the third stage. Let us go to the next stage, placing purchase order. After selecting the supplier, yes, once a supplier is selected, after selecting the supplier, an order for purchase is placed before him. An order for purchase is placed before him, before the supplier. Then what is this purchase order? Purchase order is an order placed with the supplier asking him to deliver the materials or goods stated therein. It is an order. Purchase order is an order submitted before or placed before the supplier asking him to deliver, asking him to supply the materials or goods mentioned there in the purchase order. Purchase order-നകത്ത് പറഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്ന ആ സാധനങ്ങൾ ഇന്ന സമയത്ത് കൃത്യസമയത്ത് എത്രയാണോ നമ്മൾ ടൈം കൊടുത്തിട്ടുള്ളത് അതിനകത്ത് ഈ സ്ഥാപനത്തിനകത്തേക്ക് സപ്ലൈ ചെയ്യുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് നമ്മൾ അദ്ദേഹത്തിനോട് ആവശ്യപ്പെട്ടുകൊണ്ടുള്ള ഒരു ഡിമാൻഡ് നോട്ടീസാണ്, ഒരു ഡിമാൻഡ് ഓർഡറാണ് പർച്ചേസ് ഓർഡർ എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ. ഓക്കെ, നൗ എ പർച്ചേസ് ഓർഡർ ഈസ് placed before the selected supplier. Let us see the next stage, receiving of material. Okay, receiving clerk verifies the contents of the packages with the consignment note sent by the supplier. Okay, it is the next stage after placing the order. Order is placed and the supplier who supplied materials to our firm, who carried these materials to our enterprise, and now it is unloaded here. Okay, next step begins here. Receiving clerk. If a particular department called receiving department is established in the enterprise, in the case of large business enterprises, one separate department called receiving department should be established for the purpose of verifying the goods supplied. Okay, verifying the goods supplied. In the case of small concerns, this job is usually undertaken by the storekeeper himself. Okay, receiving clerk verifies the contents of the supply, contents of the packages with the consignment note sent by the supplier along with the package. പാക്കേജിനോടൊപ്പം ഒരു കൺസൈൻമെന്റ് നോട്ട് കൂടി അയക്കും. ഇതിന്റെ ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് ഈ തന്നിരിക്കുന്ന മുഴുവൻ സാധനങ്ങളുടെയും ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് വെച്ചിട്ട് ഒരു കൺസൈൻമെന്റ് നോട്ട് അയക്കും. അത് നമ്മൾ സൈൻ ചെയ്തിട്ട് തിരിച്ചയക്കേണ്ടതാണ്. ആ നോട്ടിനകത്ത് കൃത്യമായിട്ട് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടാവും ദ ക്വാണ്ടിറ്റി ഓഫ് മെറ്റീരിയൽസ് സപ്ലൈഡ്, ദ ക്വാളിറ്റി ഓഫ് മെറ്റീരിയൽസ് സപ്ലൈഡ്, ദ പ്രൈസ് ഓഫ് മെറ്റീരിയൽസ് ആൻഡ് അതർ സ്പെസിഫിക്കേഷൻസ് ഓഫ് മെറ്റീരിയൽസ്. മെറ്റീരിയൽസിന്റെ മുഴുവൻ സ്പെസിഫിക്കേഷൻ അതിനകത്തുണ്ടാവും. ഓക്കെ, നമ്മൾ ആ പാക്കേജിനോടൊപ്പം കൺസൈൻമെന്റ് നോട്ട് വാങ്ങുന്നു, പാക്കേജ് മുഴുവൻ പരിശോധിക്കുന്നു. നെക്സ്റ്റ്, ആഫ്റ്റർ വെരിഫിക്കേഷൻ the receiving clerk will prepare a report called material requisition note or goods received note. Material received note or goods received note. After thorough scrutiny of those packages unloaded here, the receiving department clerk should verify and prepare a report called material received note or goods received note. Material received note or goods received note. There this step ends. And let us continue with the next one, inspection of materials. Okay, inspection of material. After receiving the materials, okay, all materials supplied by the supplier are received by our receiving department now. Next step, pass these verified received materials to the next department called inspection department. In large concerns, you can see another department called inspection department. Inspection department is entrusted with the task of inspecting the materials supplied, and they are entrusted with the task of inspecting the quality and all the specifications of these goods supplied. For that purpose, they can seek the help of chemists, architects, and experts in the field. Experts in the field. Sometimes this department may consist of these experts. Okay. Anyway, inspection department, it is authorized to inspect the materials received by the receiving clerk. Okay. Now, the receiving department has to send the materials along with the copy of material received note to the inspection department or to the inspector or for inspection. ഇൻസ്പെക്ഷന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് റെസിവിംഗ് ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റ് ക്ലർക്ക് അങ്ങോട്ട് പാസ് ചെയ്തു വിത്ത് along with the material received note, goods received note. Okay. Now, inspection department clerk or the inspector checks the quality, size, and quantity of materials received. Quality, size, quantity, etc. are checked here. He prepares a report after inspection. That report is known as inspection report. Goods inspection report, material inspection report. He has to prepare a document. He has to prepare a report upon the inspection made by him. That report is called the inspection report. Okay, goods received are verified and now inspected. And go to the next last step, checking the invoice and making the payment. Checking the invoice. Invoice, it is a type of bill itself. It is sent by the supplier along with these goods. ഗുഡ്സിനോടൊപ്പം ഒരു ഇൻവോയ്സ് അയച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടാവും. അത് ബില്ലാണ് യഥാർത്ഥത്തിൽ. ബില്ല് ആവണമെങ്കിൽ അതിന് പേയ്മെന്റ് നടത്തണം. ഓക്കെ, ബില്ലിന് മുമ്പുള്ള ഒരു ഇൻവോയ്സ് ഉണ്ട്. അത് 3-4 കോപ്പികളായിരിക്കും അവിടെ നിന്ന് കൊടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ടാവുക. ഓക്കെ, അതിനകത്ത് the date of the name of the supplier, the name of the person or institution to whom the delivery is made, details of specifications of material supplied, quantity of material supplied, price quoted, price specified, price of materials that should also be specified. So this is called an invoice. It is attached along with these goods. Okay. Here, generally, the supplier sends an invoice in respect of a material supplier. It contains details regarding materials supplied and the amount to be paid for it. The total amount to be paid for it, it must contain. On receipt of invoice, the purchase department clerk checks and compares the invoice with the purchase order, goods received note, inspection note, etc. Purchase department clerk or purchase department manager must compare this goods this invoice with the purchase order, goods received note, material received note, and also inspection report. Everything is okay, everything is in order and correct. Then purchase department manager send this invoice to the next department or the next person called costing department, cost accountant, for payment. The payment is usually made by the costing department. Therefore, after verification, after verifying that everything is in order and correct, purchase department manager sends this invoice or passes this invoice to the costing department for making the payment. There, this purchase procedure ends. There, the purchase routine, purchase cycle, purchase control steps